Hi all. Right, back with more enemy action Kharkov, Soviet Solo. Take 2 part, although I feel like it maybe should be take 3 now. No, take 2 part 39, is it? I think, yeah. Yeah, a few things to talk about, unfortunately. Some errors. Martin goes away for a few days and everything goes wrong. So much for me spotting all my errors. I mean, I know I did spot that one and it was too far gone to fix it, unfortunately. Martin's brought up 2 or 3 things and yeah, I'm not happy. This mistake I can't really fix again without wiping out. I mean, when is this from? This is part 32 actually. So I spotted a blunder in part 31. Was it not similar? You know what? It was all about the same thing as well. It was all down here, wasn't it? Yeah. The blunder I had noticed was the unit should have moved from here to here. Mind you, I would have still missed. I would have still missed this next part. I can't fix this. I can't fix this, and I'm really annoyed because this puts a big asterisk on the playthrough now, because there would have been a garrison in here. It was the unit we attacked here. Now he was sitting in there, and I was looking at the other unit that was in here to check for dangerous surround. This unit was in dangerous surround, obviously. It was the 40 core units that were in these hexes. And I just focused, again, my focus was on this guy, and it ended up we couldn't place, it was this garrison we placed here, I think. We ended up we couldn't place a garrison to get this guy out of dangerous round. There was no hexes for it. But this guy was sitting in here, and because he's on the map edge, it's quite easy to surround. I mean, like I say, you only need a unit in here and here, or, you know, either of the two, any of the 2 hexes. No, in fact, you only need a unit in here. Yeah, you only need a unit in here, and that guy's then surrounded in there. So I didn't look at this at all, and he was clearly in dangerous surround. Martin's pointed out to me, said that the garrison should have been there. I would have removed dangerous surround from that unit. We would have not then been able to go in round about this unit, not in one impulse anyway. We'd have had to clear that garrison. I mean, yeah, because this unit, the 40 core unit was here as well, so there was no way to get through around the back. We probably had the movement to do it, but we didn't have the gap to do it. And I'm assuming all this was blocked off as well. Yeah, just have a glance at how it was. I think we had the pop-off unit here, but if we put the garrison there was no gap through here to go and surround it, and this pop-off unit in here it didn't have the movement. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 5, 6 maybe down into there, but not surrounding it. That was the only unit that could come round. So I just totally. And then he made a previous comment about timestamp 39:30. I moved to position 126, would have removed dangerous surround from unit 2 though. However, it would also still be in dangerous surround itself. And again, my reply to both of his comments there was, I just totally ignored the fact that this unit was in dangerous surround. I just didn't register it. Why? I don't know. It's on the map edge. Is that an excuse? I don't know. It's another. Yeah, it's just another one of the ones that I missed. I mean, I guess maybe because he was on the map edge, I've maybe just not thought about it. But there's actually a worst to come. However, the worst to come, I think I can fix. Martin may actually tell me where the unit should have been, because that was quite recent. I cannot fix this without wiping out 4 or 5, 6 videos. I don't think. But it is annoying, because this wouldn't have happened. We would have still had, I don't know, this unit would have still been here. I mean, look where this garrison ended up getting placed. It got placed in a position that didn't really help at all the Germans, you know. and it should have got placed here. It would have helped that unit, and that's about the worst mistake that I've had in the game now. I feel, I know there's been a couple other ones I can live with, but that one just puts a dampener on the game and says that, like, you know, I shouldn't really be in that position. However, we what do? Do we wipe it all out? No, I like to fix if I can, but if things go too far, then I'm not going to start wiping out multiple videos to try and fix. So we just need to point it out to everybody and move on, I guess, you know. Yeah, well, there's more to talk about. Okay, some not so bad, some, well, another really bad one. I don't know. My reply to Martin was, it takes me back to the previous playthrough when I abandoned it. It was like that obvious. Anyway, I'll show you in a sec. So nothing I can really do about that one, I'm afraid. So okay, let's find what the next comment was. Okay, the next thing he brought up was, you know how I had said I put 3 units in this hex with a total of 6 steps, and that's the third tank unit down the bottom was just a 1-step infantry, and obviously I had the card to replace a point on it. Or did I have the card at the time? I'm not sure. So is that not the end of the... I can't remember anyway, but my question was that if this has got 6 steps in it, we cannot replace that infantry unit down the bottom. Now, the priority is that you repair infantry units on the map first. Reduced infantry units on the map first. 1-step infantry units on the map first. Or I don't think it says, I think it says non-mech, doesn't it? And then you would then be allowed to look at, well, then you would look at infantry units in the eliminated units box, and then you would then be allowed to look at mech units on the map. So, but you can't replace a point if it's going to overstack the hex. So that would be an illegal replacement point. And then my question was, can I, because of that, can I sort of a little bit gamey and replace a point on this armour unit instead, assuming I had no other infantry units that were reduced, that were allowed to be replaced. And I kind of thought no, but I did mention that I felt like this came up in Enemy Action Ardennes. So Martin's answered the question. Well, he said that using the same logic as in Enemy Action Ardennes, it appears fairly clear that you can. So there you go. So it must have come out. I wanted to start looking back because I'm sure there was a bit of a discussion, there was a bit of a thread about this. It might not have been me that brought it up. You know, I do feel like there was a talk about it in Enemy Action Ardennes, because there was not only that case. I mean, what was the other one I brought up to you? If the units were out of supply, no, dispersed. Oh god, whatever one you can't replace points with, that's out of supply. So say the only infantry unit we had available to replace was out of supply. Could we then say, right, well, we can't replace that, can we replace the armoured unit? So my assumption to that is that yes, you can do that as well. So yeah, there's a kind of bit of a cheeky way around about it, I suppose. I mean, I overstacked that, so now if I did want to, it does look like I'd be able to replace one of the mech units. So good to know. I'm going to try and look that out though, the talk about that, see if I can find how it was discussed and maybe John Butterfield's like confirmation or how it came about and whatever. So I might get back to you with that. The other thing he mentioned in this part, this was part 33, was I didn't look into it, but I know what he's meaning. Yeah, they've all moved now, haven't they? It was talk about the lead unit activating. What did we have? Well, it was when the second SS unit was in there, and we were activating 48 core. That was it. So we had 3 48 core units at the time that were all active, and there was a second SS unit beside this one. So whether I maybe said things wrong. What he's saying is, it's worth mentioning that if a situation does not apply to the initial lead unit, you move on and use the next unit in the formation as a new lead unit. So in this case, while you can't include the stacked 2nd SS core unit for the first check, you can do so when the stacked unit becomes the lead unit. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I maybe didn't explain that very well at all. So I think we were saying, was this guy the lead unit or something at first? I don't know. I can't remember. I think it was maybe these three. So I think he was the lead unit, and we were looking at the situation. It didn't, well, yeah, it didn't matter, but what we would look at that lead unit as a situation, find out that that didn't then apply to the situation, look at the next unit, and then he would be the lead unit, and he would also activate the unit he was stacked with. I'm pretty sure it didn't come to anything. He's not said anything there. I need to look back in the part, but I think it was more I was discussing it, and I maybe didn't make that clear. So yeah, thanks for bringing that one up as well, Martin. So, and then what do we have after that? Right, okay. The Western support line. So this is in part 36, when I eventually decide that, hooray, I've got my 21 victory points that I've been talking about for quite some time now, to be able to have the Western support line as my support line. And you know how I couldn't figure out why on turn 8 you had to check your victory points, and I was all confused, and I was saying, well, turns 5 to 7 is doing that too. Well, no, it's not, Grant. And even if we just look on the player aid, it says from turn 5, use West support line on game turns 5 to 7. That's what it says. You just use it. You don't need victory points. And then it says, and on game turn 8 plus, if victory points are greater than or equal to 21. So that's why I couldn't get my head around the fact that we were checking from game turn 8. It's because I didn't need to be getting 21 points yet until game turn 8. So yeah, I've just not read that one right at all. So thanks for putting me straight on that one, Martin. Okay, and this is just a horrible one. Yeah, this is his last one. This is in part 37. Although he mentions two things here, I've asked him to. I've got to think the second one he's got wrong and maybe not looking at it right. But you know, I don't want to like say that, because the amount of times I've thought Martin might be wrong, and yeah, then I've been made to look even more foolish when he says no, it's because of that. So we'll see. Yeah, it's so yeah, it's unit number 5. Glad you mentioned it, Martin, the number, because yeah, it's this guy here. Okay, we move this guy from, I don't know, he moves from back here somewhere. One movement method 8, isn't it, to move adjacent to a Soviet unit. He does all this. I check for dangerous round on him, because he is inside the support line. Right, sorry, cut off. Phone call again. You think I'd have this phone situation sorted out by now? Well, I think I'm due for an upgrade, but I'm not really sure what to do, if to just use this old phone as my recording device, and then obviously I have my phone, so if somebody does phone, it's on the other phone, obviously. But then I'd be wanting to try out the new phone and new camera, so I don't know, maybe I could just get the new phone and leave this as my phone, and yeah, anyway, you don't need to know about that. Yeah, so yeah, blatantly just ignoring the fact that this was part 37 at the 1 hour 27 minute mark. Martin's just put unit 05 is in dangerous around in that hex, and it is, and we checked, but we clearly checked very poorly. I don't know. I mean, all we need is a unit. What is it into here? And I think I'm saying I can't get into here, but why? I don't need to get into here, because we've got a unit here exerting zone of control. So, you know, it's 1, 2, 3 for the infantry, 4 into there, and this guy's surrounded. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's like rewinding to take one of this playthrough. I mean that and the one away down there at the map edge hex. I mean, I think this is daft. I totally just didn't think about the one on the map edge. Like I say, my only excuse can be that it was on the map edge and it threw me. But I mean, come on, Grant. You know what is going on there? So I should be able to fix this though. Yeah, because this is the last thing that happened, wasn't it? Or was it? No, not quite. Ah, well, yeah, the last... What did we do? Yeah, we placed the forward support marker, didn't we? Yeah, we placed this on our impulse. That's right. And then the Germans deployed. They that was the other bit I was trying to look through. Oh, you know what? I'll come to that later. It's just I think I was watching back in the playthrough, but I never got right through it all. And I see myself actually not deploying a unit here because I realised to ignore the garrison when checking for, you know, reserve, checking for dangerous sound around a reserve unit. And then do I not then go through, once I then go in, I think what throws me is I go up and I have to deploy a core Rouse unit, and it's a guy that ends up away up there. And then I come back to, because it's just the sequence of the, you know, the selector numbers of the units. And then I come back down here to deploy, and I'll not then try again and actually do it this time, and then eventually realise, mate, now what's going on here, and I have to rewind it. And I've not got around to watching all yet, but it just seemed, I thought, what are you doing, Grant? So yeah, should be able to fix this one then. So, right, and the last one, just before, that's my tablet went. The last one was, Martin had said, I think he must have this wrong. Hang on a sec. Yeah, the last one he mentioned, like I say, I've had to ask him, I've had to say I'm not seeing what he's talking about. He was saying that when we move these two units, this one would have to go in the position hex, and this hex here, I think. And I looked up the rules because I started thinking, do they have to end in position hexes? I mean, I'll tell you one bit that I started wondering about, and when he brought this up, I thought, oh, don't tell me. But it says, right, within the preferences, and this is action step 8, preference B is empty or garrisoned position hex. Now, I was reading that as a garrison position hex or an empty hex, and I started thinking, does it mean empty position hex? But I thought, no, it can't, because, you know, I mean, this unit ended up in just a random hex, an empty hex. So I thought it can be, because there's no position hexes around there. So yeah, let's just forget that thought. But it was the words, you know, the way it was worded, but it means a garrison position hex or an empty hex. However, he seemed to be thinking that I should have moved it to here, but then he also says that this unit should have ended up there, which is, so I think he's got something wrong there. But yeah, I'll let you know on that one. I'm not going to. It shouldn't affect things at the moment anyway, so hopefully I'll get some reply from, and hopefully he just says, yeah, he's looked at it slightly wrong or something. So can we fix this guy? Okay. Well, he was he in here? Damn it, I had the video up. There's the video. Yes, he has. So I'm going to move him back, and I've just got the video up there just now. Our options were these 4 hexes. Now, I'm not quite sure where we're going to end up now because that nonsense. But I'm going to go through the procedure again. I know this could be one of these episodes, but I will try and squeeze in, although I'm not sure. This could be I don't know how this impulse is going to go for me. Right, okay, let's get this fixed first. So So if not adjacent to the Soviet unit, move closer to nearest Soviet unit. So all three of them Soviet units are nearest for this guy, right? So then preference A is adjacent to a Soviet unit. So he's definitely going to move into one of these 4 hexes. Well, I say definitely. There's a couple other things that could, yeah, this could be, I don't know what this is going to come out to. He's not told me where the unit should be. He's not made it easy for me, so. So adjacent to Soviet unit, right, so it's one of the 4 of the hexes. Empty or garrison position hex, like we just talked about. Well, all of them are empty, and yeah, they can't, I mean, that's a position hex, fair enough, but this is just an empty hex, it's not. So they're all empty, within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core. They are all within 3 hexes of a unit in this unit here, so yeah. And then closest to nearest Soviet unit, well, they're all as close as they can get, right? So we've got that bit done. So now we want 10.54, don't we? Which is the movement adjacent to Soviet unit. And then runs through these preferences. Prefer A hex. Now these are only preferences, right enough. So they are only preferences. However, yeah, no, it's a restriction, isn't it? It's the restriction that says on turn 4 onwards, and between turn 4 and 7, if not in dangerous round, don't end move in dangerous round unless ends in VP hex or hex outside Soviet support or causes surround of Soviet unit, or allowed by the action. It's not allowed by the action. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So, and this is why this one becomes illegal. Well, am I not right in thinking that I do see this one as surroundable, and for some reason blank this one. Anyway, let's go through the preferences. So, and I'm not going to remove these cubes just yet. Prefer A hex that would cause the Soviet unit to become surrounded. Well, none of them do that. Yeah, none of them do that, okay? That's right, yeah. And then B, a hex not adjacent to a German unit, adjacent to the same Soviet unit. So that's kind of what knocks out this cube, right? How can I do this? Alright, well, you know what, I'll leave the cubes, but that means that this one's a no. Right, because it's adjacent to a German unit, adjacent to the same Soviet unit, and this one's also this hex is also the same because it's adjacent to a German unit, adjacent to the same Soviet unit. So these two are out, okay, and then, well, I say they're out. The preference was to not have that, right? So these two would be okay for that. So looking at they two. An empty hex, right? They're both empty. A hex occupied solely by German units not attacking this action. None of that nonsense. Most movement points to reach. Ah, yeah. So this is the one that ended up, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here, and it's only 4 into here. So this is a winner if none of the restrictions are broken. And well, this is a relevant restriction to be broken as well, because he is moving away from a town. So we can't leave proximity, Soviet proximity to that town. That's breaking the restriction. So that restriction and the other restriction that says don't end in dangerous round if you don't start in dangerous round comes into it. So if this unit moves to here, which is the priority that it's one. Obviously we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. He's surrounded. Okay, so that one's out. Well, that one's definitely out because that is breaking a movement restriction. So we cannot do that. So that's why I'm leaving these two in, because we cannot do that one. Now, where I ended up going was, so I backed up to this one. which is not adjacent to a German unit, adjacent to the same Soviet unit. And then this is where I leave the guy, clearly not seeing that 1, 2, 3, 4 surrounds this guy. So let's put that back, and that goes away. So that now brings us back to the 2. So it takes us back there, because although we'd prefer not to be adjacent to this German unit, adjacent to the same Soviet unit, we now have to look at these hexes. So between the 2, right, hang on. Yeah, so because we can't pick a hex that is not adjacent to a German unit, adjacent to the same Soviet unit, we just ignore that and move on to the next priority, which is an empty hex, or both empty, a hex occupied solely by German units not attacking, and then E, most movement points to reach. I think they're the same, aren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they're exactly the same, going through all the preferences within the actual action step and 10.54. However, still not looked at the restrictions yet, and that might come into it. So we would be looking at tiebreakers here, and it would be the lowest numbered hex. So this is the 1, 1, 2, 1, 4 is the one that would be preferential to it. However, if we move to here, 2 things. Are we in dangerous round? I'm going to say we are. Yes, we are. And not only that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, hang on, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can actually, we're proximate to this town. So that's a no. So finally, and this is his last possibility, well, he can't go there either, can he? I mean, I don't think he'll be in dangerous round there, but he's breaking the restriction there. So he cannot make this move then. Right, hang on. He can still move closer, right? He can still move closer. It's just he can't get adjacent. There's not any hex that he can get adjacent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's not that you can get any of this nonsense. Nah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we looked at that. We can't get around the back. And again, he'd be leaving this town proximate. Okay, so we're gonna have to go right back and work out, because this unit's still wanting to carry out an action within that action step number 8. So if not adjacent to Soviet unit, move closer to nearest Soviet unit. Right, so where can we go? Oh god. Right then. I'm not sure. Right, I'm guessing what this does do is it takes out 10.54, because we're now not moving adjacent to Soviet units, so at least we don't need to consider that. I mean, I guess I've just chucked a sort of thought here. If he was to move there, I guess it's because it's a low hex number. I'm just looking at that, just briefly to see. But first of all, I mean, is he in dangerous round there? Possibly not at this time, but possibly. 1. Yeah, he is, isn't he? He is grand. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this guy's in there, right? So that's not any good. Okay, so that was there, I was thinking. My guess is that if I step back up to there, well, maybe not. So that's 1, 3, 1, 3. That would be 1, 3, 1, 4. So yeah, it'd be better in this hex row. It'd be a lower number anyway. So what about there then? I might be missing the obvious, but I'm just trying to get my head around this. Yeah, probably still in surround. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it clearly is. We need to get out of this hex row then. Hex column. 1, 4, 1, 2. I don't think so, Grant. Well, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, back up. 1413. Yeah, I'm getting further away from this nonsense, so maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he's got an out hex this time in here. Unless this mech unit can... I don't think the mech unit can do any better though, can it? Because it's got this woods in the way. Well, this guy could come 1. Admittedly, this guy, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can still do this, can't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's not an out hex. And 1, 2. He's surrounded again. Okay. It's getting tougher. 1, 4, 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. He's going to have an out hex this time, surely. Well, hold on though, the time's available, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, maybe not. No, because we've got that minor river there. Does that one work then? I think we looked at 1314, didn't we? I mean, if we looked at 1316, I think that then means that the town is accessible, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it is. So what did I have? 1414 there. That could be our winner then. We looked at 1413, didn't we? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2. Yeah, 1414. What do you think, Martin? You think that's right? Right, so he started in this hex, right? If not adjacent to Soviet unit, moved closer to nearest Soviet unit, right? So he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from all of these. If he moves to here, he's now 1, 2, 3 away from all of these. So he's got closer. Prefer A adjacent to Soviet unit. We've found out we cannot do that. Enter garrison position hex. It is. Within 3 hexes of the unit in the same core. Yes, we're good there. Closest to nearest Soviet unit. Well, I think that's as close as we can get. Because if we go up here even... No, we've looked at that one already, haven't we? If we go up to these, we're exposing the town. So we need to stay down here to avoid that exposure to the town, I think. I mean... Yeah, that's in dangerous around as well, you know. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing down in here that's not going to be in dangerous around. And obviously they're all within the support zone as well, so I think that's a winner. So that was all the preferences checked there. Well, yeah, the last one was closest to nearest Soviet unit. And I think that's as close as I can get. I was 5 away, I'm now 3 away. That's as close as I can get without breaking either the restriction that exposes this town or the restriction that I'm moving from not in dangerous round to dangerous round. The other one is don't cause unit in same core to be put in dangerous round unless that unit is active and not yet acted. That wouldn't have happened. I think he was he wasn't the last one. These guys then moved. Yeah. But these are already acted anyway, so, and they're not in danger because they moved there. Yeah. Okay, right. I think I've got that fixed. I don't know. I can't explain these kind of thoughts that I have. Definitely not. There's no other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and then he's got the river, and this guy, yeah, there's not a Soviet unit proximate to that town, so I'm good with that. Well, I'm as good as I feel, because I'm feeling a bit clumsy right now with how I'm going about it. Right, okay, I'm going to have to pause for a little bit, but I'll probably just put this on pause. And I think that thing's up to date, so fingers crossed. Okay, right, back. Been away for a wee while, just had things on pause there. So yeah, about to start. Hang on, was there something? Oh yeah, something quick. That last question I posted on BGG, Tom Castle come in, voiced his opinion and admittedly thought that the player aid, you know, it could be misinterpreted. John Butterfield came and confirmed that basically he calls it aggressive compression that they must have done on that, and it should be reading the same as the rules. And yes, totally understandable. You're trying to cram all that stuff. We'll not go into that again anyway. However, my other question from Tournay about not needing to be in dangerous round. John actually points me to the very first sentence on page 19 of Rule 10.15, which is between 8 and 14 German action steps for game turns 8 through 14. And before it mentions all the steps, it says, in all steps the moving unit can end its move in dangerous round. So yeah, and like I replied, my eyes must have just, I don't know, glossed right past that, but so thanks for that, John. Okay, now what am I going to do here? Well, my initial thought, and I've been talking about it, and I don't know, here's me going on the defensive and talking about trying to be aggressive, and maybe because I can move this guy down and surround this, you know. Right, okay, I had things on pause there again. Don't know what I just said. Where's my tweezers? The computer for some reason. So, not sure where I was at all. Yeah, I don't think I think I was talking about my next impulse maybe being third tanking, coming down, challenging this guy. Yeah, and it's why I was thinking about it today, and I was watching back on a previous video when I was coming back in the train, not driving the train, coming back as a passenger on the train. I had realised that moving this unit down to here to surround this guy, which may be nice, is exposing this town for this unit to be proximate to it. So I've had a couple of little thoughts regarding what I could maybe do about that if I do want to go about it. But strategic movement from one unit here up. However, getting that answer back from Martin that seems to suggest that this has got 6 steps in it, this hex. This is the only infantry unit I've got, one step infantry unit that I've got within third tank. Okay, now I can't carry out the replacement point step with that, right? Okay. Do I want to do this? Part of the reason I want to do this is just want to like move on with the video, to be honest, but that's maybe a poor way of thinking. I mean, I don't really need to do this first, but I want to do it while this stack is full, because if I do this now, right, then I'm going to get to be able to, like I say, game a little bit by either replacing the point on this unit, right, or this unit. Now this moves from a 2 to a 3, although he's mechanised at the moment, and this one's armoured, but this one actually moves up from a 2 to a 4. We have nothing in the eliminated units box, so I mean, that would be going by what Martin said. Yeah, well, he seemed to think that would be okay. I wasn't very sure. Now, I tried to look back on something from Enemy Action Ardennes, and I did find there was a post that I had made. And Enemy Action Ardennes, you could only replace elite units once you'd replaced all the other units. So it was similar to this, you know, because you can't replace mech units until you've replaced the infantry units. So it had that similarity. And then my question had been that if I had 2 replacement points to give out, I had 3 units, 2 of them were elite, 1 of them was not, but the one that was not was actually out of supply and couldn't take the replacement point. Could I assign the 2 replacement points to the elites? And the answers got back. It was Nico replied first, saying that he felt, yeah, there was nothing there to say that it would restrict you, and Martin agreed with him. That's the only thing I could come up with. So I think that's the thing that stuck in my mind a little bit, because it's similar. Because, well, my question had been, say the unit, the infantry unit there was out of supply. Well, if I want to replace the point on it, I can't do that because he's out of supply. So that kind of tells me that if you're comparing the games together, the rule should be that I should then be able to sneak by that one and then replace another point on another unit. I mean, obviously, if there was another infantry unit one step, I would have to pick that, but there's not in this case. So I think I'm thinking about doing this now. Again, whether I should do this before, I mean, maybe I should make this move that I'm talking about if I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm still not sure if I want to do it or not, so I'm kind of like killing time here. But I feel like I should take the advantage of that. Now, I would like to replace the point on this one, and he might well be involved in my plans here as well. However, yeah, no, you do need to think about that one, Grant, don't you? You need to think about what you're going to do leaving here, because I think I could actually put a force of 25 to 5. I think it works out maybe with 26 to 5, 5 to 1 odds on that unit and have them surrounded. And remember, we're in Soviet support. Whether I would chuck a combat tactic, I don't know. Possibly. I mean, I'm not sure if I should be doing this, if I should be like just strengthening things here. Because it looks like they're going to start building up and come at us and be coming for Kharkov as time goes on, you know. So I don't know if this is silly or not. So yeah, still kind of trying to think about this, but I just want to get kind of moving with the episode. I spent a bit of time on talking about problems, and I'm not finished. I was going to start right away. So I got a reply from Martin regarding this situation up here, and I asked him to sort of say, okay, he's admitted he feels that unit should be in there, and the reason that I was totally confused is because he gets the next unit in there. He said he's been off of that. He means here. He means this hex here. So with that, it kind of explains what his thinking is of this. And when I say his thinking, it probably is the right thinking. It probably is the rules. I'm not disputing this yet. I'm waiting on another response. So my question back was, because what he's saying to me is, I should be, this unit's still in here, right? I should be finishing in a position, and this is what he's actually saying, what I maybe started thinking, that the wording, right, is empty or garrisoned position hex. Now, I talked about this earlier, thinking, does that mean empty position hex or empty garrison position hex, or does it just mean empty hex or garrison position hex? Which that's how I initially looked at it, that it just meant empty hex or garrison position hex. Because remember, this isn't an empty hex. This is a garrison position hex. So, I mean, I feel like I've got an argument to say it could read either way. That now, whether if you thought more into it, it would make more sense to say no. It means a position hex that's empty or a garrison position hex. You know, so it could be that I'm just not reading it that way. So, but the thing that threw me about all that was, I'll remember to move that guy back. And this is what I was about to come back with him and say, but I've only asked him the question because, you know, I was saying to you, well, that can't be right, because that's not a position hex, and that's the end in these empty positions round the unit. However, I realised where I was going wrong with that one, because preference A is adjacent to Soviet unit, okay, and that is the first preference. It doesn't care if it's empty. It's an empty position hex, an empty garrison hex. It doesn't care. It wants to be adjacent. So I stopped myself from sort of saying, well, wait, how does that work, Martin? Because these aren't position hexes. So he basically just telling me that the preference after that if it can't get adjacent, then it's going to look what he's seeing it as. And again, like I said, should I be challenging him? Probably not. What he's saying is it should be a garrison position hex or an actual empty position hex. And I think, well, I need that cleared up for me, because the wording, like I say, is empty or garrisoned position hex. You could, I don't know. Admittedly, when I initially read that, right, I just thought, right, an empty hex or a garrison position hex. But I did bring this up that I thought, wait a now, maybe that's meant to be empty position hex or empty garrison position hex. Okay. And that's why his belief is that when these two units start here, that because he's got to finish in a position hex, he finishes there, okay? And then the next one, and like you say, he did get the hex number wrong. He said, I mean, bear in mind, he's not got the map to look at, he's not got the game yet. So, and then this guy would move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he wouldn't move 6. Well, he's wanting to stay within 3 of that unit anyway. And again, he's ending in a position hex. So, yeah, now where did I have them there? I'm going to put them back there just now till we get this one worked out. You know what, I think it's probably right that that's the way it should be looked at, but it might not be. I mean, is there logic in that? Is there you know, is there something that tells me that that's how it should be, because they should always end in position hexes? Maybe there's something. I seem to struggle understanding the whole, you know, Tom Castle come back a few times recently saying, yeah, but that doesn't make sense because of that. I don't really think that way, I guess. I think I read what is said and I try to compute it that way rather than think, what could the reason for that be? You know, and yeah, and I've asked, yeah, well, I think that moves me on to my next kind of thing that Martin's brought up. Okay, we'll leave that one for now. I'm not going to get in and done in this. This is going to be just a blather, this episode, innit? Well, you know what, I could just do that. I've had 2 of them already, haven't I? I'll just put a header in the comments saying that there's no gameplay involved and it's just me yakking on and talking about things, fixing things. Well, I might add, there's a couple of non-enemy action Kharkov things I'd like to have said as well, so maybe I could just make an episode of that. And then, as long as it's in the header, have a look at the header, guys. That might tell you something, and it might sort of say, look, don't come here if you want to see what happens next, because it's not going to show you. Yeah, okay. Right, before this, I go into this next bit, let me just take a pause again. I'll just pause the camera though. Right, okay, so the other bit is garrisons, a reserve deployment. And Martin's, he said he doesn't understand my logic in garrisons, and you know what, he's actually also pointed me to something that I've obviously been a bit confused by this, although I feel like the answer to my question, he's going to say yes. I guess my question is, so once you move into reserve deployment, right, dogs here, alright. Yeah, so you're trying to deploy a reserve. Should we just say, from the moment this process starts, imagine these aren't here, whoosh, until we deploy the reserves, then put them back, you know? Should that be how it works? Because, I mean, admittedly, I understand that if I'm trying to deploy a reserve here, right? If I'm trying to deploy it here, then this garrison is considered not here, right? I understand that, but what he actually pointed me to, and I also understand that if I have a unit adjacent to a garrison, and I'm checking for proximity. This is not regarding reserves, right? I'm checking for proximity. I ignore this garrison if I'm adjacent, or if any unit's adjacent to it. What I maybe didn't realise was page 15, 9.22, garrisons and reserve placement. Right, a position hex, I'll read it all. A position hex containing a garrison is eligible for German reserve unit placement. I understood that, not a problem. Upon placing a German reserve unit in a garrison hex, remove the garrison, right? Yeah, I'm fine with that. This next bit. During German reserve placement, Soviet proximity may be traced into and through a garrison hex as if the garrison weren't there. I don't think I got that bit. And I think I've been playing the game, and when I read it now, I remember reading it, and I think it's just because what got into my head was we ignore garrisons to check for dangerous, and I think whereas that I keep going back to it, and it's in dangerous surround reminders, but there's a bit more to placing a reserve than just checking for dangerous surround. So that actually says that you ignore when you're checking Soviet proximity. So that kind of probably means, with understanding that, it probably means my question is, you know, yes, no, I can't remember. what I've asked is, yeah, no, I told you what I'd asked, yeah. When we come into starting reserve deployment, and I've got a unit that I want to deploy, right? Let's just say it's this wee cube, and I don't know where it's going to go. From the moment I start that process to the moment I finish that process, do I ignore garrisons? Are these not here, you know? And then once we finish that process, they come back. Of course, they might not come back because the unit might be deployed into there, and then that's fine. I understand that, but because I think the bit that was getting me, and I thought I'd made it clear, but then maybe not. Martin's not seeing my logic, he says. So what I'm asking him is even when we are checking preferences, and it's preference C within the deployment process in method A, which says, and this is a preference C, like I say, hex that removes dangerous sound from another German unit or enables another German unit to supply. So hex that enables a German unit to hex that enables hex that removes dangerous sound from another German unit. I'm going to leave it at that. The supply bits, but it's relevant, I suppose. And this is a bit he's pointed out, because I'm talking about trying to place this unit. I think it ends up here. Turns out, going by what he's saying, I think I'm going to have to move it to here. And the reason being is he's saying that I should be ignoring this garrison. And I'm just wanting to clarify that even within that preference, because I don't know, maybe this doesn't make sense, Martin. Fair enough, you're not getting what I'm thinking, and yeah, I guess it's maybe mad thinking. If I'm deploying that unit there, I'm checking a preference that says, will that remove dangerous sound from this unit? So am I to ignore this garrison? I mean, it feels to me that it's a slightly different thing. It's not, I'm not ignoring, you know, I can understand that when we're talking about the unit being placed here, is it in dangerous round? Let's ignore the garrison. When we're checking about, does it remove dangerous round from this? Okay, you're telling me I should remove that garrison. And you know what? I mean, I just want to know. I guess I want to know the answer. It doesn't feel clear to me that that's how it should be looked at. And maybe that's just me. Okay? So, right, I've got some kind of response. So, I'm going to go and look what he said. Well, assuming it is some kind of reply. So, give me a sec. Okay, he's answered my question, and he's answered it like I thought he would, and said that my question has been, obviously, again, sorry to go over again, when we enter the reserve deployment phase, stage, action, whatever you want to, however you want to look at it, do we, from the start of that to the end of that process, ignore German garrisons completely, no matter what we're doing within it? And he says yes, he can't interpret the rule any other way. So that's good enough for me. It's just, yeah, it's a me thing. I've just been, I think sometimes I just looked so much into it that I start thinking, because, you know, it was a preference, it wasn't part of the, you know, it's only looking at, you know, how you know, deciding between two, and I started thinking that German, but listen, I'm glad it's that way, because it makes it easier. It means that you can just forget about garrisons, don't, any check of dangerous round, any check of proximity, ignore garrisons completely. So good. Okay, good to know. Sorry if I've well, I guess he would have pulled me up before now if I'd made mistakes with that sooner. I do remember talking about it a bit, but still not being sure. I feel like I recall that any time I did talk about it, I don't think it affected the placement of the unit. But however, we now have a problem here. I think I'm going to have to say that this guy's going here, isn't it? I'll need to have a look over the video though. So well, this is just going to be a big hash of nothingness anyway, this video. So he hasn't come back and said anything regarding this, what his thoughts are on this. Knowing how I think he's going to say, he is going to say that he believes that it should be position hexes, empty position hexes, or empty garrison position hexes. Again, that just might be my strange mind reading it, and you know, the way I'm reading it in a different way. But we'll see. We'll see what his thoughts are on that. He might reconsider and think, well, maybe it could be read that way. Maybe not though. Okay, right. Well, you know what? Let's get this bit fixed. I'm pretty sure it's just a case of this unit moving into here, because I think it was between these two hexes. And yeah, I'll go and look. Right, I'm just trying to look back on this mess. So what it's this card we've got. I think yes, this unit gets correctly placed. Right, this is what I'm seeing, and this one's fine. Then we go up to the core Rouse unit, and then we have an awful job getting this guy down. You know, even my thinking of how garrisons worked, I still make a mess of all this at first. However, that unit being played, well, let's just look here, and we've got cubes. We've got our options now are actually these two. Okay, eventually we work out that, sorry, this pop-off unit down here can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into here. And then this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into there, surrounding that, because we think this is non-surroundable. We ignore this garrison, and we do find, obviously, that this guy is also surroundable. So they're both surroundable. So then we look at qualifying preferences, VP hex within 3 of the same core. Yep. See, hex that removes dangerous round from our German unit. Now this is the one that, okay, I've been thinking wrongly about. However, at this position, it does not. This doesn't come into it. This guy's not in dangerous round, so we don't need to try. He's not, is he? No, he's not. So we don't need to look at that. So none of the hexes will do that, remove dangerous round from our German unit. So then D is not in dangerous round, and we work out that both of them are in dangerous round. Remember, they're outside the zone, but that's only part of the criteria. When it comes down to preference, if we found one of them was not in dangerous round, we would pick that. They're both in dangerous round. Non-map edge hex, not applicable. Lowest position number. And that's how we decide that this one is unit 3, sorry. That one takes unit 3, okay? So then we're trying to deploy unit 4. Now at first I thought, when I'm looking at the video, I'm thought, why is that not an option anymore? But I do eventually talk about the fact that we're actually not proximate to that anymore now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 it would be, you know, we're crossing that. Right, hang on though, Grant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's the same. So we're actually not proximate to this. So we look for other options. We foolishly consider this, and this again. I think multiple times. That one is also in dangerous round. So that's when we come back to this one. But hang on. Let's put that one in there. Yeah, because that one's outside the zone. Yeah, I think this is where I make a mistake, and I get the feeling that it's this one here. So within 3, yeah, we're not proximate to any of them. We've looked at all these. These are all in the zone and surroundable, right? Forget about them. This one, although surroundable, is outside the zone. This one is not surroundable outside the zone. So you would think you might be wanting to go for this one, and that's what I do in the end, but then that's because I'm thinking about it wrongly. And it's all to do with, this shouldn't be here. And I think it is. However, I must admit, I'm glad this has been cleared up for me though, because it makes it much more easier to deal with, you know, so I'm glad it's cleared up. So there's our 2 possibilities. So let's go through the preferences again. Okay, I know a lot of you have switched off by now, a long time ago probably. VP hex with lowest position number. Yeah, there's no VP hexes, right. Within 3 hexes of unit in the same core, right, they both qualify. Hex, and this is the one, hex that removes dangerous round from another German unit, right. So, and then this is when I go into it, and then this is when I talk about it. I've not completely watched the end of this. I'm going to go back to it, but I'm just, because I'm understanding where I went wrong now, because this shouldn't be here. So does this remove dangerous round? Because we know, right? Well, we don't know. I don't believe that this guy's in dangerous round, because I'm looking at this as still being a garrison, because we're looking at this guy. We're not looking at where the deployed unit's going, and that's where I've been getting it wrong. So if we do take this out of the equation, I'm just going to chuck a dark blue cube there to say that's that garrison, then this unit is in danger of surround. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Surrounded. Okay, so that is in dangerous surround. Now, if we place this unit here, does that remove the danger of surround? Yes. So it's as simple as that. Not looking at this garrison, this unit should be placed here, because now we cannot surround this unit. Now, remember, both these hexes are in dangerous round. We established that. They're outside the zone though, so they're allowed. So we're now at preference C, hex that removes dangerous round from another German unit. That's it there. Because this hex here does not remove dangerous round from this unit. We can still go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we're ignoring this garrison, so that doesn't help. However, that one does remove dangerous round. And even though he's in dangerous round himself, oh, have I got that wrong again? I can't reach there. So looking at both the hexes, right. Dear me, what a job I'm having here. Take this unit away. Is this in dangerous round? I think we said it was. Right. Damn it. 1, 2, 3. This isn't in dangerous round. Why am I getting... It's not, is it? what a state I'm getting in here. I mean, Martin has just talked about, you know, he doesn't understand my logic here. He hasn't said that the end placement of the unit going here was wrong. But I'm just trying to look at here and see if I did get it wrong. Thought I had got it wrong, but now it's not adding up, is it? Okay, well both, yeah, because I was saying both the units are in dangerous round. 1, 2, 3. I can't go in there. I can only go in there. 4, 5. Yeah, I remember looking at this and saying, well, this isn't a hex. This guy's not in dangerous round. What are you on about, Grant? So, hang on. No, I'm still right, am I? Oh, my head's bursting. Okay, let's look at the two. They both satisfy the criteria, yes. Now the doubt was that this is in dangerous round, however, it's outside the Soviet support zone. This one is not. But they both satisfy every step of the criteria in method A. Yes, they do. Okay, I think I'm just getting myself in a right tizzy. So, and then within the preferences of EP hex, no. Within 3 hexes a unit in the same core, yes. And then C, hex that removes dangerous round from another German unit. Yeah, okay, I thought I was trying to say that this guy was in. It doesn't matter if he's in dangerous round or not, because that preference doesn't come in until D. So this preference breaks if both of these remove dangerous round from this unit, then the next preference is not in dangerous round, then we take that away, and then that is that one. However, that's not the case, so yes, I'm right, it is in there. Come on, Grant, get out of here, quick. Quick. Garrison I'm putting back now, because they just come back. It's like magic. They go away when you as soon as you start deploying reserves, take all your garrisons away. Mark them with wee cubes and then put them back at the end. Or something like that. It's tricky. I think I mentioned the fact that, but although I've been looking at it wrong, I think I mentioned the fact that the garrisons are kind of distracting. You know, even when you're just looking at dangerous around a unit. But much clearer to me now. If as long as, you know, if I can look at it that way, just ignore the garrisons completely. Right, okay, listen, this is getting far too long. One quick thing, Martin did come back and said that yes, the instruction is, and I'm going to take his word for this, although I believe to me, the wording of it is slightly, I could see it either way, but I did think about it either way. Eventually, I first thought about it in the way I was doing it, and then I thought, oh, wait a minute, Grant, could that mean empty position hex? Not just empty garrison position hex, but an empty hex, but empty position hex. So Martin's reply was yes, because they would have a separate instruction that said empty hex. Okay? So the instruction for that is, and this is action step 8, this is between turn 5 and 7. Action step 8, preference B, and the wording, and it's the same in the rulebook, is it the same? I would have looked in the rulebook, surely. Don't tell me it's worded differently in the rulebook, then I'll look foolish. Even more foolish. Yeah, no, it's exactly the same wording in the rulebook. It says, I don't know, just listen, how do you take this? Empty or garrison position hex? I don't know. I'm not very good with English, admittedly. It's not my top subject. There's no many top subjects, to be honest. Empty or garrison position hex. Now, initially, I read that as your choice of an empty hex or a garrison position hex. But when I come back and looked at the rule later, and this is what brought my discussion up before I even think I got a response from Martin, was that, oh, could that mean empty position hex or garrisoned position hex? Martin said that's how it is. That's how it should be. Personally, like I say, English isn't my best, so maybe, you know, maybe the way there's no punctuation within it, maybe that means that you treat it all as one. It could well be the way I wanted, or the way I read it. Maybe there would have been a comma in there somewhere or something else. Well, Martin says that if it was meant to be that way, it would be a separate instruction that said empty hex. So, you know what? He knows his stuff. We're going to go with that, and I'm glad that I've found that out now. I am now going to move these back, because what that would mean was, well, I'll just show you. That was unit 10, that was unit 6. So unit 6 would move first, 1, 2, and I had them move to here, but this isn't an empty position hex or a German garrison hex. 1, 2, yeah, and that would have been, hang on, could it not have went there then? Could it not have went there maybe, Martin? Or even, no, it's got 1, 2, that's within 4, yeah, okay, so he's got it all covered, honestly. That guy doesn't get anything wrong. So it should have been in there, because it's in a position hex that was garrisoned, and the garrison's coming away now, and it's staying within 3. So now when I go to move this unit, I'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I would have my initial thought would it would go, no, that's not true, because I need to keep it within 3 of that guy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and it can either go, and to me initially I thought it would either go there or there, and then I would, to be honest, I would have picked the lowest hex number, because that would have been the tiebreaker. But the way he's telling me, it would only go in an empty position hex or a garrison hex, so it goes there, and that garrison comes away as well. So we're going to go with that. That's how the way we are going to look at it. And unless something else happens that tells us differently, I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind that. I guess that is one of the times where I did sort of think, why does it want to stay in position hexes? Maybe I'll get an answer to that. Maybe somebody will explain to me why that is. But things like that maybe don't matter to me why, as long as I'm getting it right. As long as it's that the rule is that it does follow position hexes rather than just empty hexes. Okay, right, I'm going to get away now, and this is just going to be a whole lot of nothing. I'll put that in the header. I need to take a break now and get other things done. I might get back to something. Still don't know what I'm going to do. Am I going to chuck that replacement point down? I don't know. I need to think about it. Okay, put that card away, Grant. Right, I'll be back hopefully this evening with some more something. Okay, cheers guys.